change their rule, the Pete Rose rule, if you'd like to call that, until Major League Baseball moves, which doesn't seem to be happening now. I wanted to ask you about Rule 21. Now, I have a lot of people tell me, hasn't he, quote unquote, suffered enough? As you know, this is one of the pillars of the game, Rule 21. It's something that really is it's the cardinal rule in baseball. Is there such a thing that Pete Rose has suffered enough being on this list now for 26 years?
Well, I would say maybe had he, and it could have happened before 26 years, even though the rule as written is ironclad, and as you've said, Tom, it makes no distinction between betting against your own team or receiving money to throw a game, as with the 1919 Black Sox. It makes no distinction between that and betting on your own team, or even betting on a game in which you and your team are not involved. They all bring lifetime banishment from baseball. But I think that if in the early 90s, if right after Pete had been banned, if he truly had thrown himself on the mercy of the court, both the public opinion and the baseball court, had gone to Gamblers Anonymous, truly reconfigured his life, owned up 100% to everything he had done, I think it's possible that after 5 years, 10 years, whatever, some appropriate period of time, he might have been reinstated on a limited basis. But I still think that the thing that mattered most, both to him, as you said a while ago, and especially to the baseball public, is the Hall of Fame.
Bob, as Commissioner Manfred said in his statement, in his ruling here, any debate over Rose's eligibility for the Hall of Fame is one that must take place in a different form, right? That's obviously what we've been talking about right now. But whenever if that forum ever does take place or show up, how do you think the voting would go for Pete Rose?
It's anybody's guess. I think he would receive substantial support. And I think that support might build after the first ballot, because there might be, well, that kind of reaction. I'm not going to vote for him on the first ballot because that's going to be my slap on the wrist in addition to everything else. And then some people would come around. As Tom has noted and written about, there are some 100 fewer voters now, because if you haven't been an active person covering baseball over the last 10 years, you're removed from the electorate. And so what that means is that younger writers are coming into the fold, and they may, I don't know until it's put to the test, but they may have a different view of this than some of those who are more or less contemporaries of Pete Rose. I don't have any problem, though, with Rob Manfred's reasoning. I think he's reaffirmed that despite all the other issues that people talk about, that gambling is in its own category when connected to baseball. I agree with what Chris Russo ranted about earlier today, that baseball's in a weird position with DraftKings and FanDuel, even though it's not exactly the same thing, and players are banned from participating. It still doesn't feel right. But having said all that, the rule was the rule, and Manfred has reaffirmed that going forward. No matter what any ball player might think about, no matter what he thinks he can get away with, he knows that gambling is completely off limits. So I'm good with the commissioner going in that direction. I just don't understand why. I think that both Bud Selig and to a certain extent Rob Manfred have been a bit, and I use this word, I hope fairly, disingenuous about, well, this is out of our hands. The commissioner can't do anything about it. If the commissioner of baseball were to say, in my view, I would like to see Pete Rose's name on the Hall of Fame ballot, you think the people in Cooperstown wouldn't listen to that? You think the board of directors, all of whom are baseball people, many of whom are former baseball players, might not be influenced by that? The commissioner's office has more influence here than they have chosen to use. Interesting point and an interesting debate for sure. Bob Costas, thanks so much for the time. We'll talk to you again soon. All right, guys. See ya. All right, got to take a break here on MLB Tonight, but still to come, Jason Hayward headed to the Cubs. Does that mean that some of their younger players may become trade bait? We'll talk with Phil Rogers after the break.